Ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin today with a simple truth. Time, in its essence, is fleeting. We often live as though the next moment, the next year, the next chance to speak our hearts will always be available. But it isn't. In my life, I've spent countless hours contemplating the nature of consciousness, the intricacies of the human mind, and the subtle ways our brains encode memory, love, and connection. And through that journey, one thought has persisted above all others: the impermanence of the now. It is this impermanence that brings me here, speaking to you with a message meant not just for the world, but for someone profoundly personal, my future wife. I've observed human relationships from a neuroscientific perspective, and I've seen patterns that both illuminate and haunt us. Our brains are wired to seek connection, to form bonds, and to crave the safety of understanding from another person. There are entire neural networks dedicated to empathy, compassion, and attachment. When we are with someone we deeply love, our prefrontal cortex, the seat of reasoning and planning, interacts seamlessly with our limbic system, the emotional core of our being. Oxytocin, the so-called love hormone, floods our bloodstream, creating a biochemical dance that aligns two hearts in ways that words can only begin to describe. And yet, despite the elegance of our neural wiring, we often fail to communicate the things that truly matter, the things that define us, and the things that might illuminate our future together. Before I leave you, before life imposes its inevitability, and the weight of time claims its due, I want you to understand the depth of this truth. Love is not just a feeling, it is a series of conscious, intentional decisions made every single day. We often romanticize love as a force beyond comprehension, an ineffable energy that sweeps us off our feet. But what I've discovered, both in science and in life, is that love is also profoundly practical. It is the recognition that the other person's brain, their experiences, their memories, and their fears are not just parallel to ours, but are essential to our understanding of the universe itself. To truly love someone is to acknowledge the immense complexity of their inner world and to commit without hesitation to navigating it with humility, curiosity, and courage. Let me give you an example from my own life, an anecdote that at first glance might seem trivial, but which carries a weight that is anything but small. I once spent an entire evening discussing the neural mechanisms of memory consolidation with a close friend. We were dissecting the ways in which the hippocampus interacts with the prefrontal cortex, how experiences are encoded not just as discrete events, but as interconnected webs of meaning that shape identity itself. By the end of the night, I realized something profound. Every human connection, every relationship, is an opportunity for mutual cognitive growth. Each conversation, each shared experience, is not merely an exchange of words, but a subtle rewiring of the brain itself, an expansion of consciousness that shapes who we are and who we can become together. And it is this realization that I want you to carry with you, my future wife, that our bond will not just be emotional, it will be evolutionary, in a sense, an alliance of minds, hearts, and possibilities. I often think about what it means to truly understand someone. Neuroscience tells us that the act of understanding another person involves more than empathy. It requires an intricate mirroring of neural pathways. Mirror neurons fire when we observe another person's actions or emotions, allowing us to simulate their experience internally. But to truly know someone, to truly see them, we must go further. We must learn to anticipate their hopes, their fears, their subconscious drives. We must be willing to explore the spaces between words, the silences that carry as much meaning as speech. And this, my dear future, is where I wish to invest every ounce of attention, patience, and presence I have. I want to inhabit the spaces of your mind and heart with the same reverence that I would approach the most complex, unsolved problem in the universe. Science teaches us that vulnerability is the gateway to profound connection. When the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, detects risk, it triggers fear, withdrawal, or defense mechanisms. Most of us avoid this risk, opting instead for emotional safety. But love, true love, demands that we confront this fear, It asks us to step into uncertainty, to expose ourselves fully, and to trust that the other person will not only understand, but will hold that vulnerability with care. I want you to know, before anything else, that I am ready for that step. I am ready to offer my whole self. Flaws, fears, dreams, and ambitions, not as a shield or as a bargaining chip, but as an open gift, trusting that the reciprocity will shape us, strengthen us, and propel us into futures we cannot yet imagine. There is a profound lesson in mortality that often goes unspoken in our culture. Our lives are finite, and our time together is inherently limited. This knowledge, however daunting, can be transformed into a source of inspiration rather than fear. Every moment we spend together is an opportunity to deepen understanding, to reinforce trust, to marvel at the extraordinary intricacies of another human being. The hippocampus, as I've studied extensively, encodes these moments with precision, allowing memories to persist long after circumstances change. But beyond mere memory, love imprints itself in ways that alter neural architecture, reinforcing resilience, emotional intelligence, and even creativity. In other words, our partnership has the potential not just to be meaningful emotionally, but to fundamentally enhance who we are at the very level of brain structure and function. I think about the countless stories of human triumph and tragedy, and I am reminded that the measure of a life is not in the successes we claim publicly, but in the depth of connection we foster privately. Your presence in my future is not just anticipated, it is transformative. The anticipation alone has already altered my cognitive and emotional landscape, sharpening my empathy, clarifying my priorities, and heightening my appreciation for the subtle interplay between intellect and heart. You have, in ways unseen, already begun to shape the person I am striving to become. And this is the essence of what I want you to understand, that the act of loving someone, of truly committing to them, is both an acknowledgement of the present and an investment in the infinite future of our evolving selves. Consider, for a moment, the complexity of human emotion. It is not linear, it is a symphony of neurochemical interactions, psychological narratives, and lived experiences. Happiness is not merely dopamine spikes, nor is sadness simply serotonin depletion. Each emotion is a multi-layered construct, influenced by genes, environment, and the stories we tell ourselves. To love fully, we must embrace this complexity in ourselves and in each other. I vow to approach every aspect of your being with curiosity rather than judgment, with patience rather than impatience, and with reverence rather than assumption. There is no shortcut to truly understanding someone, and I am committed to walking that intricate path with you, step by deliberate step. I have spent much of my life thinking about exploration, of space, of technology, and of the unknown frontiers of human possibility. Yet, I've realized that the most profound exploration is not outward, but inward, and not in isolation, but shared. To truly journey through the human mind and heart alongside another person is a challenge that rivals the greatest endeavors of science or engineering. It requires courage, resilience, and imagination. And yet the rewards are incomparable, a life not merely observed, but deeply experienced, a consciousness expanded by love, understanding, and shared growth. There will inevitably be moments of difficulty, as there always are in the complex systems of life and relationships. Conflict is not a failure. It is a signal, a neural alarm that something requires attention, understanding, and recalibration. I promise you that I will approach these moments with rationality informed by compassion, with listening informed by science, and with action informed by a steadfast commitment to our shared journey. We will encounter uncertainty, but within that uncertainty lies the opportunity to demonstrate resilience, creativity, and the transformative power of love applied intentionally. Before I leave you with these words, I want to share one final reflection, a principle that has guided me through both scientific pursuit and personal growth. Every meaningful endeavor, whether it is launching a rocket, decoding a neural circuit, or building a life with someone, is ultimately an exercise in persistence, humility, and audacious hope. The future is unpredictable, chaotic even, but it is also filled with the potential for wonder, discovery, and profound connection. My commitment to you is not only to navigate that future with integrity and intention, but to co-create it with a sense of awe, gratitude, and unwavering love. So, before I leave you, before life's relentless passage imposes distance and circumstance, know this: you are not merely a chapter in my story, you are a co-author. You are not an observer of my heart, you are its partner, its catalyst, and its reflection. In your presence, I have glimpsed the extraordinary capacity of the human mind and heart to transform, to evolve, and to reach beyond what we thought possible. And in the life I hope we will build together, I promise to honor that capacity, to nurture it, and to celebrate it every single day, as though each moment were both the first and the last. A paradox that I have come to understand as the very essence of living fully and loving deeply. In thinking about the life we will share, I am drawn to the concept of neuroplasticity, the brain's remarkable ability to adapt, to reorganize itself in response to experience, to literally rewire pathways based on thought, action, and emotional engagement. Love, in its most profound form, is a catalyst for this rewiring. Being with someone who challenges us, inspires us, and sees us fully forces us to grow in ways we could never anticipate alone. My future wife, I want you to know that your presence in my life will not just be companionship, it will be co-creation. Together, we will cultivate resilience, empathy, and wisdom. Together, we will explore the edges of our capacities emotionally and cognitively, discovering dimensions of ourselves that are latent until illuminated by shared experience. I recall a personal memory that, in retrospect, feels like a microcosm of the journey I hope to embark upon with you. I was in a remote laboratory, isolated for days, immersed in a research project on neural regeneration. The hours were long, the nights silent, except for the occasional hum of machines, the rhythm of monitors, and the quiet pulse of my own thoughts. In that solitude, I realized something profound: connection is not optional, it is essential. The brain thrives not just on stimulation, but on meaningful relational engagement. Just as neurons require synaptic connections to transmit information efficiently, humans require authentic bonds to flourish emotionally and cognitively. And so I thought, if the brain, an intricate, nearly unfathomable system, needs connection to survive and thrive, how much more must the human heart? How much more must love, trust, and shared vulnerability be nurtured with intention, attention, and care? There is a beauty in acknowledging our imperfections, in understanding that the mind and heart are inherently complex systems prone to error, miscommunication, and misalignment. My desire for you is not perfection, nor the illusion of it. It is for honesty, transparency, and the courage to confront both our strengths and weaknesses. Science shows that self-awareness, an accurate understanding of one's cognitive and emotional patterns, is a predictor of relationship satisfaction. Emotional intelligence, the ability to recognize and regulate one's own emotions while empathizing with another, strengthens not just personal well-being, but relational harmony. And so, in our life together, I promise to cultivate self-awareness relentlessly, to observe my tendencies without judgment, and to approach you with an openness that is informed not only by love, but by rigorous understanding of the human mind. Consider, if you will, the subtle power of memory and anticipation. When we imagine our future together, when I envision the days, weeks, and years to come, my brain is not simply projecting random scenarios. Neuroscientific research suggests that episodic memory and future simulation are intimately linked. The same neural networks that recall past experiences also construct imagined futures. This means that every vision I hold of us, our laughter, our challenges, our quiet evenings together, is encoded with the same precision and emotional depth as real events. By speaking these words today, I am not merely imagining a life, I am, in a sense, beginning to build it, neuron by neuron, synapse by synapse, creating a scaffold upon which our shared experiences can flourish. I also want to speak about fear, not as an abstract concept, but as a tangible neural phenomenon. Fear is often seen as a barrier, a signal to retreat. The amygdala, our brain sentinel for danger, is exquisitely sensitive, alerting us to risk long before reason can intervene. Yet in love, in the act of committing to another person fully, we confront fear constantly. We take emotional risks, exposing vulnerabilities, sharing desires, and confronting uncertainties. And neuroscience shows that taking these risks, when met with positive reinforcement, trust, reciprocity, care, strengthens neural pathways associated with reward bonding and emotional resilience. My future wife, I want to assure you that I will confront these fears with you, not in isolation, that the uncertainties of life, the inevitability of mistakes, the vulnerabilities we each carry, will not be sources of division, but opportunities for mutual growth, understanding, and profound intimacy. Let me share another reflection from my personal journey, one that perhaps seems unrelated at first, but, in truth, mirrors the life I hope to build with you. I once observed a species of octopus in a controlled research environment, a creature of remarkable intelligence, capable of solving complex problems, exhibiting curiosity, and demonstrating adaptive behavior. Yet what struck me most was not its cognitive prowess, but its fluidity, its ability to navigate changing environments with both caution and creativity. In many ways, this mirrored the adaptability required in human relationships. Just as the octopus must balance exploration with safety, we too must navigate the dynamic currents of life together, learning to adapt, respond, and thrive without losing the essence of who we are. The lesson here is simple yet profound. Love is not static. It is a living, evolving process that demands attentiveness, flexibility, and imagination. And imagination in the context of love is not fanciful or trivial. It is the capacity to envision possibilities, to empathize with experiences not our own, and to construct a future that honors both reality and aspiration. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of planning and foresight, works in tandem with emotional networks to create this capacity. When we imagine our life together, when I consider your hopes, fears, and dreams alongside my own, we are engaging in a neural choreography that binds us more deeply than words alone could achieve. I want to participate in this dance with you, consciously and deliberately, every day of our lives, knowing that the act of shared imagination is one of the most profound forms of intimacy and co-creation available to human beings. Before I leave you, I must also acknowledge the inevitability of change. Life is characterized by constant flux. Neurons fire, experiences accumulate, perspectives evolve. The person I am today is not the person I was yesterday, nor will I be the person I am tomorrow. And yet, in this fluidity, in this continuous evolution, I vow to remain anchored to the principles that define our bond: trust, respect, curiosity, and love. I will honor your evolution as you honor mine. I will celebrate the ways you grow, even when it challenges my understanding or comfort. For it is in this mutual respect for change and transformation that relationships attain their deepest resilience and beauty. We often underestimate the power of small gestures, subtle moments that ripple across our neural and emotional landscapes. A shared glance, a word of encouragement, a silent presence in a moment of difficulty. These are not trivial. They are the scaffolds upon which enduring love is built. Studies in psychology and neuroscience repeatedly demonstrate that consistent, attentive, and compassionate interactions reinforce attachment bonds, reduce stress, and increase overall well-being. My promise to you is to attend to these moments with intention, to cultivate an awareness that appreciates not only grand gestures but also the quiet, everyday actions that shape a life together. There is a final truth I wish to share, one that is at once deeply personal and universally resonant. Love is ultimately a choice. It is a choice to engage, to persist, to forgive, to nurture, and to dream. The human brain is predisposed to seek connection, yes, but without conscious, deliberate action, even the most profound affection can atrophy. I choose every day to invest in you, in us, and in the life we will create. I choose to approach each challenge, each triumph, and each ordinary day with curiosity, commitment, and joy. I choose to honor the incredible privilege of sharing existence with another human being, whose mind, heart, and soul are as vast, intricate, and mysterious as the universe itself. And so, before I leave you, before the cadence of time carries us into unknown territory. I offer these words not as a farewell, but as a beginning, a blueprint, and a promise. You are not simply part of my future. You are the lens through which I hope to perceive it more fully, more deeply, and more profoundly than I ever could alone. You are both my challenge and my inspiration, the variable that transforms my equations of life into something alive, dynamic, and meaningful. And in every neuron, in every heartbeat, and in every breath, I will carry this truth forward, that the depth of connection we forge together has the power to shape not only our individual lives, but the very architecture of our shared existence, creating a reality in which love, understanding, and wonder are not abstract ideals, but tangible experiences lived fully, consciously, and endlessly. As I stand here, contemplating the vast complexity of the human mind, I am continually struck by the paradox of love. It is at once intensely personal and yet universally human. Our brains are wired for patterns, for prediction, for understanding cause and effect. Yet love defies simple equations. It is a dynamic system subject to feedback loops, emergent properties, and nonlinear growth. And perhaps that is why it is both terrifying and exhilarating, because it challenges the very core of our understanding, asking us to surrender control without surrendering our agency, to embrace uncertainty without abandoning clarity, and to commit fully without guarantees. I reflect often on the moments that have shaped me, moments of triumph, failure, loss, and revelation. There is one memory, in particular, that illuminates a truth I hope to carry into our shared life. Years ago, I was working on a project that seemed impossible. Every technical obstacle felt insurmountable. Every failure echoed louder than the faint promise of success. In a rare moment of clarity, I realized that the struggle itself was the teacher. The human brain thrives not merely on achievement, but on problem solving, on confronting uncertainty, and on navigating challenges with intentionality and courage. Love, too, mirrors this dynamic. It is not the absence of difficulty that defines it, but the willingness to engage with those difficulties with patience, insight, and unwavering commitment. My future wife, I want you to know that I will approach our life together with the same tenacity, the same respect for challenge, and the same awe for the growth it will bring. There is a scientific principle that resonates deeply with me in the context of our relationship, Hebbian theory, often summarized as neurons that fire together, wire together. On a biological level, this principle explains how repeated interactions strengthen synaptic connections, creating robust pathways that support memory, learning, and cognition. On a human level, I see it as a metaphor for partnership. The moments we share, the experiences we repeat, the rituals of daily life, the laughter, the tears, the silent moments of presence, they all create neural pathways that bind us, strengthening the architecture of our shared life. In other words, our love is not abstract, it is a living, growing system shaped by intention, attention, and repeated acts of connection. Every day, every choice, every word spoken or unspoken contributes to the resilience and richness of that system. I have also spent a great deal of time studying the role of emotional regulation in long-term relationships. The brain is exquisitely sensitive to stress, and the amygdala can hijack rational thought when fear or conflict arises. But with mindfulness, awareness, and deliberate practice, we can reframe our responses, engage prefrontal networks, and approach challenges with composure, empathy, and strategic insight. This is my commitment to you, that in every moment of tension, I will strive to act not from impulsive reaction, but from considered understanding, that I will listen not only to your words, but to the emotional subtext that carries them, that I will hold space for your feelings, your fears, and your dreams, understanding that to truly love someone is to honor the full spectrum of their human experience. There is also a beauty in imperfection, in the unpredictable patterns of human life. Chaos theory teaches us that even small changes in initial conditions can produce profoundly different outcomes. Relationships, too, are sensitive systems. Small gestures, small missteps, small choices compound over time, and yet within this sensitivity lies extraordinary potential. It is a reminder that love is not a static state, but a continuous process of adaptation, learning, and growth. I want to be fully present in that process with you, attentive to the subtle shifts, responsive to the emerging needs, and committed to navigating the unpredictable terrain of life with curiosity, courage, and devotion. As we move forward together, I want you to understand the role of shared purpose in a relationship. Neuroscience has shown that humans thrive when engaged in meaningful, goal-directed activity, particularly when that activity is aligned with others in a cooperative, supportive context. Our shared life, in essence, will be a series of interconnected purposes to support, to challenge, to inspire, to comfort, to create, and to explore. I want us to build not only a partnership but a joint vision, a dynamic, evolving blueprint for a life that is both intellectually stimulating and emotionally nourishing. Every choice we make, every project we embark upon, every dream we pursue will be a thread in the tapestry of our shared existence. And yet, I must acknowledge the ineffable, the parts of life and love that cannot be quantified or reduced to neural circuits or biochemical processes. There will be moments of awe, of transcendence, of wonder at the simple miracle of being alive and being together. The scientific mind may seek to understand, to categorize, to explain, but even the most rigorous analysis cannot capture the full essence of human connection. It is in these ineffable moments, in the quiet dawn shared over coffee, in the laughter that emerges spontaneously, in the tears that flow unbidden, that the true depth of our bond will be revealed. These moments, though intangible, are no less real. They shape our brains, our hearts, and our memories, leaving lasting imprints that define who we are and who we become together. I often think about the legacy we leave, not in terms of material accomplishments, accolades, or public recognition, but in the quality and depth of our shared experiences. Every interaction, every choice, every act of kindness or understanding contributes to a neural and emotional landscape that will outlast fleeting moments of fame or success. The love we cultivate, the attention we give to one another, the courage we show in embracing vulnerability and growth. These are the true markers of a life well lived, a life deeply intertwined, and a love that is enduring. Before I leave you with these final words, I want to offer one more reflection on time. Human perception of time is malleable. Our brains can expand or contract it based on attention, emotion, and engagement. Moments of joy seem to pass in the blink of an eye, while periods of tension or waiting can feel interminable. This is why I treasure the idea of being fully present with you in every instant, immersed in the richness of experience, attuned to the subtleties of your presence, and committed to maximizing the emotional, intellectual, and spiritual potential of our shared life. In essence, by fully inhabiting our moments together, we can stretch time, deepen meaning, and create a life that feels expansive, even as the days themselves inevitably pass. And so, my future wife, as I speak these words, I do so with both humility and conviction. Humility in recognizing the vast mystery of the human mind and heart, the unpredictability of life, and the limits of my own understanding. Conviction in the knowledge that the life we will create together will be rich, meaningful, and transformative, grounded not only in love but in intention, science, curiosity, and relentless commitment. Every neuron, every heartbeat, every shared breath is a testament to the possibility of profound connection, and I vow to honor that potential with everything I have. You are the partner who will walk with me into the unknown, the co-creator of dreams, the witness to challenges, and the companion through every joy and sorrow. The life we build together will be a testament not just to love, but to the extraordinary power of human potential, realized through connection, understanding, and the courage to embrace both vulnerability and wonder. And though time may carry us forward, though the world will continue its relentless motion, know this: the essence of us, the commitment, the curiosity, the shared vision, and the profound bond of hearts and minds will endure, shaping not only our lives, but the very way we perceive the universe and our place within it. So I leave you with these words not as a farewell, but as an enduring promise. to love with depth, to grow with intention, to explore with curiosity, and to cherish the extraordinary, unpredictable, and beautiful journey that awaits us together. In every neuron, in every heartbeat, in every thought, I carry this truth. You are not just my future. You are the lens through which I will see the infinite possibilities of life, love, and human potential. And in that shared vision, in that sacred partnership, we will find not just fulfillment, but the profound, transformative experience of being truly alive. As I think about the journey ahead, I am drawn to the concept of interdependence. Life is not meant to be navigated in isolation, nor is love a solitary pursuit. Neuroscience and psychology both affirm that our brains are social organs, designed to learn, grow, and thrive through interaction. The presence of another person, someone who understands, challenges, and supports us, fundamentally alters the way our brains function. When you are near, my future wife, your presence will not merely comfort me. It will enhance my cognition, sharpen my focus, and expand my capacity for empathy. Just as the human brain relies on networks of neurons firing together, our lives will rely on the synchronization of our hearts, minds, and intentions. Together, we will create a resonance that is greater than the sum of its parts, a shared intelligence, a shared intuition, a shared vision for what our lives can be. I often reflect on resilience, what it means to withstand the trials of life without losing the essence of who we are. Neuroscience shows that our ability to recover from stress, trauma, or challenge is not fixed. It can be cultivated through practice, mindfulness, and meaningful connection. In love, resilience is not just enduring hardship. It is facing it together, holding one another in times of uncertainty, and emerging stronger, wiser, and more deeply bonded. I promise you before I leave you that my commitment is not only to celebrate joy with you, but to stand unwaveringly beside you in the inevitable storms, navigating them with courage, understanding, and unwavering devotion. Every difficulty we face will be a test not of our love, but of our willingness to grow, adapt, and strengthen the foundation of our shared life. I also want to speak to the power of curiosity, the relentless desire to understand, to explore, to see beyond the immediate, the obvious, the familiar. Curiosity is the engine of discovery, the spark of innovation, and the heartbeat of meaningful relationships. In science, it drives us to ask questions no one has considered, to look at problems from angles that challenge conventional thinking. In love, it drives us to see our partner in all their complexity, to ask not only, "What do you need?" but "How do you experience the world?" and "What do you dream of?" even if you cannot yet articulate it. I vow to approach you with boundless curiosity, to never take for granted the infinite depths of your mind, heart, and soul. Every day with you will be an exploration, a journey into the intricate, extraordinary, and beautiful mystery that is you. And then there is gratitude, the recognition that life, however fleeting, is a gift, and that love is the most profound manifestation of that gift. Studies in neuroscience have shown that gratitude is not just an abstract concept. It alters brain chemistry, increasing serotonin and dopamine, reducing stress, and strengthening social bonds. I want to cultivate gratitude with you in every moment for the small acts of kindness, for the laughter, for the shared silence, for the challenge that teaches us patience, and for the joy that teaches us to celebrate. Every gesture of love, every moment of presence, every act of care will be met with conscious gratitude, amplifying not only our happiness but our capacity to thrive together. As I reflect on our future, I think about legacy, not as something monumental or public, but as the imprint we leave on each other's hearts, minds, and souls. The choices we make, the attention we give, the way we respond to one another, these are the threads that will weave the tapestry of our shared life. Neuroscience teaches that memories are malleable. They can be enhanced, reshaped, and enriched through repeated emotional engagement. I want our life together to be filled with memories that are not only enduring but transformative, moments that shape us into the best versions of ourselves, both individually and as a pair. There is a sacredness in the ordinary. The human brain is capable of detecting novelty, and joy even in routine patterns, but it is often in the smallest moments that love is most profoundly felt. The quiet conversation at dawn, the gentle touch after a long day, the shared glance across a crowded room, these are the neural and emotional building blocks of a lifetime. I want to be fully present in these moments with you, to notice, to celebrate, and to respond to the subtle yet profound ways in which we inhabit each other's lives. And finally, I want to speak about hope, the audacious, unyielding belief in possibility. Hope is a neural and psychological state that propels us forward, even in uncertainty. It allows us to envision a future brighter than the present and motivates us to act toward that vision. My hope is that together, we will create a life that is not merely lived, but fully realized. A life in which love is a continuous source of inspiration, in which we challenge one another, support one another, and grow together. A life in which each day brings the opportunity to deepen understanding, expand empathy, and create beauty in the ordinary and extraordinary alike. So, before I leave you, I want you to know this: you are not just my future. You are my present, my compass, my collaborator in the grand experiment of life. You are the force that will sharpen my mind, expand my heart, and illuminate the path ahead. Together, we will navigate the unknown, embrace uncertainty, and celebrate the infinite potential of the human spirit. And in that journey, in that shared exploration, we will discover not only each other, but the extraordinary possibilities that exist when two minds, two hearts, and two souls commit fully to one another. As I close these words, I want them to resonate not as an end, but as a promise that echoes across every day we share. A promise to love deeply, to listen intently, to learn continually, and to grow endlessly. A promise to honor the complexity, the beauty, and the depth of your being. A promise to walk beside you through triumph and challenge, to celebrate joy and confront adversity, to nurture hope, curiosity, and gratitude in all that we do. And above all, a promise to cherish the incredible singular gift that is you, the partner of my heart, mind, and soul, for all the days we are given to explore, to create, and to love together. Because in the end, love is more than a feeling. It is an action, a commitment, and a transformative force. It is the invisible architecture that shapes the brain, heart, and life itself. It is the legacy we build together in the neurons of memory, in the rhythms of shared breath, in the dance of empathy, curiosity, and devotion. And it is with this understanding, this conviction, and this unwavering intention that I leave you with my final words. You are the purpose, the passion, and the infinite possibility of my life, and I will dedicate every moment, every thought, and every heartbeat to the extraordinary journey we will share together.